Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Tonio back here today with another video, and today's topic is going to be David Benavidez. Now, before we get into the actual video, I just want to take the time to apologize for my hiatus. We've been going through some technical difficulties, but we got everything right. 2025 is going to be a good year. We got a great year of boxing, a great slate of boxing coming up. So there's going to be a lot of videos dropping, some showcases, some new ideas that I have planned for you guys. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an apology for the hiatus. Now let's talk about David Benavidez. Now we're going to talk about his fight that just happened on Saturday with David Morrell. We're going to talk a little bit about David Morrell as well. But we're also going to talk about David Benavidez' future plans and in the long term and how I think he looked in the fight. Now, he fought David Morrell Saturday. He fought him Saturday. And it was a really good fight, man. It was a really good fight. Two guys that have been wanting to fight each other. David Morrell has been calling out David Benavidez for a long time. I think about 2 years now. And David Benavidez sent an offer, and look, a fight got made. Now I love that David Morrell was calling out David Benavidez. Of course, he was calling him out, wanting to fight him. But he could have been pump faking like a lot of these guys do in the boxing industry. Calling out these top guys, to get a name off of them, build a name off each other. But David Morrell wasn't, man. And he came to fight in the ring too. We'll get into that later. But I also want to thank David Benavidez and show my appreciation for David Benavidez for actually extending the offer out to him, accepting the contract, and was willing to fight a guy with a lesser name, with a lot to lose, man. So it was really not a lose-lose in a sense for David Benavidez, because Morrell is really, really good, and he was in the contender status as well. So it wasn't like exactly a lose-lose for David Benavidez. But for David Morrell, it was a win-win. He gets the big contract from David Benavidez. If he loses, he was supposed to lose. He gets experience. But if he wins, he's right in that conversation to fight David Bivol. He's one of the best in the business. So I do want to appreciate both guys for making the fight happen. It's kind of similar to the Shakur Stevenson-Floyd Schofield situation that's going to happen on February 22nd. But I just want to extend my appreciation to both guys. Now let's talk about the fight that happened Saturday, right? It was a really good fight, really good slate of fights on the card. We had Pitbull versus Fierro. That was a slugger. Pitbull is always going to go in there and slug. It was a good fight. A lot of people say a fight of the year candidate for 2025. We also had Stephen Coolboy Fulton versus Brandon Figueroa. That was a really good fight. That was actually, I would say, my favorite fight of the night. It was good seeing Coolboy come back in the ring and getting a victory, a rematch. A lot of people wrote him off, even me. I did. I had Brandon Figueroa winning, but Stephen Fulton, he came in there and probably only lost maybe 1 or 2 rounds. So that was impressive to see. The outfit was crazy and made headlines. But yeah, now let's talk about David Benavidez and David Morrell. So the first couple of rounds, you could see David Benavidez pushing David Morrell back. David Benavidez was on the front foot, attacking David Morrell. He was pressuring him. His pressure is crazy. This is, I think, both of their second fights at 175. And they both didn't look too impressive in their first fights. I thought Benavidez did a good job in his fight. David Morrell, not so much. But this is more around their natural weight anyway, so they should struggle a little bit. But David Benavidez was the aggressor, pushing Morrell back. But Morrell showed heart, man. He showed a chin, because David Benavidez was hitting him with all type of crazy things. Typical David Benavidez, coming in with pressure, throwing a lot of punches, a lot of input. But I wanna mention one thing about David Benavidez, man. Everybody says crazy power, crazy this, crazy pressure, not a lot of skill. David Benavidez is one of the most skilled men in boxing, man. And this fight really showed me that. I knew it coming into it, with his fights with Caleb Plant, his fights with Boo Boo Andre, even his last fight. David Benavidez is crazy skilled. And at 175, I really believe that, because at 168, David Benavidez was knocking guys out. At 175, the power doesn't seem to be the same. He's going to have to beat a lot of guys with his skill, especially if the next fight is supposedly what it's going to be, Beterbiev or Bivol, the winner. That skill is going to have to be unmatched, and it's really looking like that, man. I mean, the manipulation of the guard, the jabs, the angles, the footwork. Like, David Benavidez has crazy skill, man. And even his defense is underrated, man. He's got a nice little high guard defense. The hand movement isn't crazy, but the hand speed, like David Benavidez is really, really skilled, and not a lot of people see that, man. But that really helped him against David Morrell, who's also a strong guy, crazy skilled as well. And David Morrell showed the skill. The only thing was the experience showed, man. This is David Morrell's 12th fight. He's only had 11 fights before this. The experience, David Benavidez, like you can tell, he, the 12 rounder, and in certain instances, you could just see the experience difference. But this is going to be a great thing for David Morrell. He's going to walk out of this fight with experience, fighting one of the best in the world. And he's just going to get better from this, man. They're similar in age. I believe 28, 27. Benavidez 28, Morrell 27. Or 27, 26, one of the two. David Morrell's going to walk out of this. This is a W for David Morrell. He even scored a knockdown in, I believe, the 11th round, maybe? I think it was the 11th round. He scored a knockdown. It wasn't really a knockdown. I'm going to show the clip in the video. You guys let me know if you think it's a knockdown or not. But he ultimately did get a point deducted from him in that round for a late hit, even though David Benavidez hit late, but David Morrell's connected and it did some damage. So they gave him a point deduction there. But overall, man, a really good fight. Benavidez just showed the experience, the skill, and even the power, man. Them uppercuts, man. David Benavidez best punches those uppercuts, man. Left and right uppercuts, landing on Morrell all night and almost, putting Morrell down a couple times. But Morrell's got a heart and a crazy chin, man. This is a really good fight between both guys. I don't think it warrants a rematch just because I think David Benavidez, I had the scorecards 116-110, of course, with a point deduction and a knockdown. So, I think it was 7 rounds to 3. I think I had it for David Benavidez. So, I think it doesn't warrant a rematch. Maybe down the line, David Morrell get a couple fights under his belt. David Benavidez is a champion. David Morrell goes back after David Benavidez. But I don't think right now a rematch should be in the plans. But let's talk about David Benavidez's future. So him winning this fight, he combined interim belts. He is a unified interim belt champion. I've never seen that in all my years of watching boxing. A unified interim champion. But all that means is he's next up in line for Artur Beterbiev or Dmitry Bivol. Good thing is that fight is in February. So say Artur Beterbiev wins. That means there will not be a trilogy. Artur Beterbiev, unless he retires or moves up in weight, which I don't think he would, he has a fight with David Benavidez lined up. David Benavidez is going to be the mandatory for that championship, that undisputed championship. Now, if Dmitry Bivol beats Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol then becomes, it will need a trilogy because Beterbiev won the first, Bivol won the second. Now we need a trilogy. And then David Benavidez, will have to have a couple fights under his belt, waiting on the trilogy to happen. But if Artur Beterbiev wins, it should happen right into the David Benavidez fight. Now, is David Benavidez ready for either one of them? Let's break down both of those. Artur Beterbiev is strong. He kind of has a similar approach as David Benavidez. David Benavidez just has more output than Artur Beterbiev, but I don't know if David Benavidez has enough to keep Beterbiev off of him. I think Beterbiev right now would beat David Benavidez unless he shows signs of slowing down in this second fight with Dmitry Bivol. But I don't think David Benavidez can take the pressure, the power from Artur Beterbiev, and that's crazy because we're usually saying that about David Benavidez. Can you take the power, the pressure? But I just think Beterbiev's been at this way for too long. He's too skilled. He's too experienced. I think he would get the best of David Benavidez. Now with Dmitry Bivol is less of a crack, but the output is crazy. The volume is crazy. The distance control is crazy. He will have to be able to take the pressure from David Benavidez, and which he was able to take the pressure from Artur Beterbiev. The only guy that Artur Beterbiev hasn't stopped is Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol, in my opinion, won that fight. So, yes, I think Bivol can withstand Benavidez's pressure. Bivol, I think, will be giving him back to David Benavidez, and I think will beat David Benavidez as well. But that doesn't mean that these fights shouldn't happen. This is just an opinion. We still want to see the fights. I think David Benavidez has a great chance to beat either of them. I would say with Artur Beterbiev, it's 60-40. when Dmitry Bivol is more 55-45, 60-40ish. Both of them are slightly in the favor of the champion just because of the experience that both of those guys have over David Benavidez. But David Benavidez has a solid resume himself. He just doesn't have the championship belts as of late to back up that claim. But yeah, man, that's really all I have for this. I want you guys to let me know down below, what did you think of the David Benavidez David Morrell fight? What do you guys think is in store for David Benavidez or David Morrell? And who do you guys want to see them fight next? Excuse me. We're gonna cover the Valentine's Day fight between Keyshawn Davis and Denis Beranchyk. We're gonna cover the Artur Beterbiev Dmitry Bivol fight, February 22nd, a little bit more in depth. That whole card, really, we'll go over the Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois, Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Schofield, Hamza Shiraz fight, Joshua Buatsi's fight. We'll go over all that. We'll go over the Canelo Williams Skull fight that's gonna happen. We'll go over the Terrence Crawford allegation. We'll go over all that, and also have some more cool ideas for you guys in the future for 2025. Once again, sorry for the hiatus, but we are back, man, with a great slate of videos and a great slate of boxing, man. It's a good time to be a boxing fan in 2025. With that being said, man, Tonio Knows Boxing. We out.